Well, hello everyone. This is Tommy at World at War Comics, and we have another fantastic show for you today. But before we get into that, you know what to do. Hit that subscribe button, hit that ring bell. That way you get a notice every time we drop another interview. We are loaded right now on interviews, amazing content to go with all the other great content that we have put out there. So make sure you hit that ring bell. Also, our podcast is sponsored and brought to you by cienchiles.com, the best hot sauce you will ever have in your life. Trust me, go to cienchiles.com and use comics at checkout when you're getting your hot sauce, and you will save 15% off your total order. So do that today. Best hot sauce, I promise. It's also brought to you by our good friends at Comic Crusaders. If you want to have the best in reviews, go to Comic Crusaders, comic book reviews, movie reviews, music reviews, and they also do some amazing interviews with the best in the comic book industry. So check them out. All right, without further ado, I'm super excited to have our guest, local here in Southern California in Whittier, Eric Hauser. He is the owner of Anytime Productions, and him and his team have put together the Whittier Comic Fest coming November 18th here in Southern California. All kinds of comic book artists, creators, bunch of vendors. It's going to be fun. It's free. So bring your entire family November 18th in Whittier. Yeah, without further ado, here's Eric and I to talk more about it. Thank you, everybody. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to World at War Comics. Today, our next guest, Mr. Eric Hauser, owner of Anytime Productions and the guy that's putting together the Whittier Comic Fest. Eric, thanks for joining, man. It's great to have you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh yeah, man, I'm super excited. I will be there myself. So thank you for walking me through that crazy process in the city of Whittier. I feel like I was dealing with lawyers, and I don't have that kind of brain, man. So I was a little worried. We'll see. I mean, they sent me a business license for the day, so
Perfect.
I hope I did it right. I hope I don't get like a bill for $50,000 for starting some
No.
mega corporation or something. I'm excited though, man. I mean, let's kind of go over the process of how this whole thing came together, Eric, if that's okay.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah,
So essentially, I've been doing comic book signings at a store that's located here in Whittier called Fist Comics.
nice.
We've had amazing talent there, like Joe Rubenstein, Dan Panosian, David Mack.
Nice.
So we've been doing that for the past year. And going into it, I always knew I wanted to do something on a larger scale, like a comic fest.
Yeah.
So I didn't expect to be doing it a year in. So a year later now we're doing this, and I'm really, really excited about it.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, I'm glad it all came together. Let's talk comics for a minute. Sounds like you're a comic book fan. I wasn't sure when I saw Anytime Productions. It could have been just some random production company that's putting it on, not necessarily a bunch of comic fans putting it on. But I assume that you're working very closely with Fist Comics. That you grew up reading comic books.
I did.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
did.
So when did that start, man?
At a young age, I've always really loved Star Wars. I'm a big Star Wars fan.
Oh, nice.
So
Yeah,
I kind of prefer those comics a little bit more than I do the
sure.
others.
Yeah,
But yeah, so growing up with it and then eventually working in comics has been such a cool experience
yeah,
because then you get to see like the business side of it and get to hear stories from the people who, inked the comics or,
yeah.
you know, um, or wrote some comics. So it's really, really cool to kind of delve into this side of the industry as a fan growing up.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Were you born and raised in Whittier?
I was.
Nice,
I was
man. So
born
that's
and
pretty
raised.
cool to put
Yeah.
together something like this in your hometown. That's awesome, man.
Exactly. Whittier's very community based, so that
Yeah,
kind of made me more excited to put it on as
for
well.
sure. Yeah, I mean, it's
'Cause-
an older community. I don't think people realize Whittier's been around for quite a while. So
oh yeah,
that's pretty awesome, man. And it's small enough to where you still have that kind of community feel. I mean, obviously, I don't live there, but I've obviously been there several times. So that's pretty awesome, man. I'm super
yeah,
excited.
very very excited about it.
Yeah. Well, if you could go into like, how did you get the venue? I would think that might be the hardest part because you're not charging very much for people to attend the event, to be at the event, to have a booth at the event. So, how did you get all that? I mean, that's got to be some major collaboration with the city, I would assume.
Yeah, so the city's been very helpful so far. when I was looking for a venue, I searched all over Whittier. I know I wanted to do it in Whittier
Yeah.
because, like I said, it is very, very community based, and there's such a big comic community here in Whittier as well, and in
Yeah.
the local and just in the local area in general. So I knew I wanted to do it in Whittier. Obviously, or to me at least, the community center was like the first on my list,
Yeah.
and they're extremely helpful in regards to the setup
Yeah.
and making sure that everything's set and ready to go the day of, which I
Yeah.
really liked. Um, and I wanted to make it free admission because I wanted as many people to experience it as possible. I didn't want to put that barrier on people,
Yeah.
to have to pay $10, $15 to attend.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then just with the vendor spaces as well, the city's requiring us to have every vendor provide a 1 day permit.
Yeah.
So I understand, from a business side, understood very early on in the setup that it would be difficult for a lot of vendors to apply because of that requirement.
Yeah.
So I did lower the price for vendors, so I didn't want to make the tables extremely expensive and then
Yeah.
them on top of that have to get a permit as well. So
Yeah.
I tried to offset that by lowering the cost of the tables as well.
That's awesome, man. Well, I mean, that's pretty cool. And I think I don't know if you could share yet, maybe you're not done, how many different vendors and suppliers are going to be there?
We have a diverse
Yeah.
array of vendors going from, people selling comic stands to comic dealers to, independent artists who
Yeah.
are just trying to get their work out there to published artists, published guests that I've locked in for the event, like Norm Ratman and
Yeah.
Joe Rubenstein. So, it's going to be a great event. And yeah, I'm very, very excited for the vendors who have already applied and the vendors who will eventually apply and,
Yeah.
and, and join us for that day.
No, it's awesome, man. Mr. Don is the one that hooked me up with you, Don Wynn, and he's an awesome, awesome human being. And we've had him on the podcast too. But I love that guy, and he's everywhere though. We call him the con king, man, because he's traveling all over the U.S. constantly at cons, man. He's
He's
I don't know if
great.
you will follow him, but he has a post with all the different cons, and he has X's as he gets closer to the end of the year. So I don't know how he does
Yeah.
it, man, but it's awesome.
He's great. I love Don. I met him back in February because
Yeah,
I had him, Chuck Padden, Marat Michaels, and David Mack all together for a signing at Fisk.
that's
And that's when
awesome,
I
man.
first met him, and he's a great, great dude.
Yeah, he's super cool, dude. Super cool, dude, man. Well, that's pretty awesome, Eric, man. So, I mean, as far as some of the goals, did you kind of have a business plan already set up? And can you kind of share what your expectations of the Comic Fest was going to be beforehand and where you think you are toward those goals now?
Um, I guess I went in with a very open mind. I
Yeah,
didn't really because it's my first. I'm familiar with doing signings and
yeah,
comic related events, but to do it on another scale was very different. So I didn't necessarily go in with a set expectation,
right.
but I'm very, very happy with where things are leading. Like I said, we have so many great vendors that have already applied to the
Yeah,
Whittier Comic Fest, and artists like Don Nguyen and yourself, and um, so with where things have been leading so far, I'm very, very excited. Even if, we didn't get any vendors after today, we would still have an amazing lineup of vendors that have already applied. And the community seems to really respond to it well
yeah,
so far, which makes me even happier because, the slogan for the event is comics, collectibles, and community.
yeah.
So to keep it community oriented and to have the vendors that have already applied, and it's I'm very, very excited and grateful to where things have led so far.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome, man. Congratulations. And that's pretty
Thank
exciting.
you.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty cool, man.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
So as far as like the design, and then you just mentioned that there is open spots. So if someone else is within the area that's a comic creator, writer, artist, or just a comic shop that wants to be involved, it's still open for that, right? You still have spaces or no?
Yes, we only
Okay.
have a few spaces left. I think about 6 table spaces left.
Okay.
um so yeah, I encourage vendors, other artists, to please apply. You can go on Anytime Promotions or Whittier Comic Fest on Instagram, and we
Yeah.
have the link available in our bio.
Nice.
So
Nice. Yeah. Well, hopefully we could squeeze in those last six, man, and have
be
a
great.
full packed place, man. How has the marketing been to the community and what does that look like?
So I've partnered with my Whittier.
Okay.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with that page. His name is Bob. He's great.
Yeah.
He was born and raised in Whittier like myself, and
Nice.
has a thriving page on Instagram that covers all the happenings here in Whittier.
Nice.
Um, so he's our sponsor, one of our sponsors for the event, and he's been really helping us get the word out to the community and to the city. So we've been really pushing it on social media like Instagram. He's been helping share a lot of our guest announcements and just the
Nice.
event in general. Um, and just the vendors as well. I was surprised to see how many vendors have been sharing that they're going to be there
Yeah. Yeah.
and their excitement for the event. And that in turn has helped us a lot too, because then it gets the word out to more people as well.
Yeah.
So,
That's pretty awesome,
yeah.
man. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to be there, and I can't wait to see how it is. There was a similar one called ValorCon that we just did in Paris, and it feels like the setup was very similar to how you did it. I don't know if you had a chance to go there, or have you gone to other like cons this year just to kind of get some ideas, maybe steal some ideas to bring to Whittier?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of cons have been like, I went to LA Comic Con just last year, and
Yeah,
Pasadena Comic Con, and I was lucky enough to go to San Diego Comic Con this past year as well,
nice.
which is
That's
obviously on a whole
crazy.
nother level.
That's the
It's
mecca of
crazy.
Comic Cons, right? That in New York, I think.
Exactly. But I guess just the organization and how they have things. Oh, and I also exhibited at the Ontario Comic Con Revolution.
Yeah,
I brought Joe
Revolution.
Rubenstein there. So
Nice.
I think exhibiting there, that was my first con actually, having my own table and my own setup. So I think seeing how easy they made it for the vendors and
Yeah,
how organized they have everything kind of had me in that mindset going in, trying to make it easy for vendors to apply, and
yeah,
if they had any issues with the city to help them with that, and
right.
um, you know, making sure that they have enough space and everything's adequately set up the day of.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I've really gone in with that mindset.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. As far as sponsors go, have you sold out all your sponsors or are you looking for more sponsors?
We kept it very limited this year.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we have three. The Fist Comics is a
Yeah, of course.
sponsor.
I would think so,
Um,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Hometown
uh,
comic book store, right?
exactly. My Whittier, and then we also have a company called Metro Fluid Connectors that's
Yeah.
supporting the event as well.
Nice.
But when we do the second event, which I'm aiming for it to get bigger and better year by year.
Sure.
So, by the second event, we want to open it up to more sponsors to
Yeah,
apply.
yeah. No, that's good. As long as you're there. I was gonna say if anybody wants to sponsor to reach out to you, but it sounds like you're in good shape. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
As
appreciate
far as
that.
like food and concessions, how is that going to look at the con? Can people expect to be able to buy like a burger or something while they're there?
So, I'm planning on hopefully having a food vendor
Yeah,
present
like a
to
food
be able
truck
to
or
sell.
something.
Yeah, just something so people can, purchase
Yeah,
food or drinks while they're there.
yeah,
But that has to go through the city, so I have to work that out on my
yeah,
own with the city.
yeah.
But I'm crossing my fingers, hoping that we could lock in some sort of
Good.
food vendor or like a taco truck or something along those
Yeah,
lines to have for people who are hungry and stuff. Yeah,
yeah. I'm sure there'd be some business owners out there that have a truck that'd be more than happy to park somewhere near there to make that
exactly.
happen. Yeah. And then as far as like parking, so if people are coming from out of town from like the San Bernardino area or the LA area into Whittier, is there readily like parking around there, or what should they expect around that? Because some cities are not real
Yeah,
great with parking, some are really
I
good. So,
know.
yeah,
Yeah, I totally get that. The community center luckily has great parking,
awesome.
which was something that, I thought about before even planning it, was making sure that there was parking,
Yeah, yeah,
sufficient parking. So the community center has a lot of spots available.
yeah,
So I'm not expecting the lot to fill within the
yeah,
first few hours, but there's street parking available as well. But I'm hoping that the community center has enough spaces for everybody, because
yeah.
it is a pretty decently big lot. So
Good, good, good. That's
yeah.
awesome, man. Well, very good, man. I can't believe it's coming up in what 20 days, 21 days, something like that.
Yeah,
Right, the
it's
18th,
coming
right?
up soon.
It's
Yeah.
coming close, Eric, man. It's coming close, bro. That's awesome. I
I
have to
know.
ask you, man, as a Star Wars fan, have you are you satisfied with the amount of Star Wars vendors that are going to be there for a Star Wars fan?
I would love for more to apply.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
bet.
I go to Star Wars Celebration. That's like enough for me.
Yeah,
You know, that's
yeah,
my
yeah.
favorite con to go to. So, you
Yeah,
know, I can never get enough. So, if you know you're someone listening to this and you know you have some Star Wars merch or you know Star Wars
yeah,
products you wanted to bring, feel free to apply. But
yeah.
luckily, a lot of the artists that are going, like we have an artist named Kai who's an amazing oil painter,
Mm.
and he does a lot of Star Wars work.
Oh,
And
wow.
I'm crossing my fingers he brings some because he does amazing oil paintings and things like
Yeah.
that. And so hopefully we'll get a lot of the artists bringing, you know, custom artwork, Star
Yeah.
Wars related. I might empty my wallet that day, so we'll see.
Yeah, yeah. I have a feeling I do too. The only problem with doing cons as a comic book fan is you're trying to sell your own comic book, and then I end up anything I make, I end up reinvesting into the con. So
Yeah,
I come back, and my wife's constantly like, "Dude, this business sucks that you're in." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah,
I feel that.
yeah." That's awesome, man. Anything we're missing, Eric, as far as the con and everything that we could expect?
I think we mentioned it before, but it is free admission.
Yeah, that's
So
awesome, man. That's
yeah,
so
please
cool.
bring your whole family. I want to keep it, you know, family friendly, family oriented, community oriented.
Yeah,
Um, so, you know, we want a lot of, you know, people young and old to attend.
yeah,
And we're going to keep it as exciting as possible. And like I said before, I'm aiming to make it bigger and better each and every year. So if you go to the first event, just know that we're going to aim, you know,
yeah.
to continually make it better year by year.
Yeah, yeah, that's cool. So you got a plan to do this more than just this one time.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
awesome, man. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Now is Fisk going to have a whole setup there too with all the back issues and all that good stuff that people could go through?
Yeah. Right now they're moving locations actually.
Oh,
So
okay.
they're actually trying to get rid of a lot of product.
Yeah,
So
perfect.
yeah, I'm hoping, you know, that the Comic Fest does well for them and they're able to get rid of they I remember the store owner told me the more we sell, the less we have to move. So
Yeah, that's
they'll
awesome,
have their
man.
own setup and stuff and they're bringing toys, back
Yeah,
issues, you
nice.
name it. So I'm excited to
That's,
have them there.
yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, it makes perfect sense. So that's awesome, man. All right, can
Yeah,
we talk Star Wars for a second?
I'd love to.
Yeah. So what'd you think of the
Yeah.
Ahsoka series?
I personally think other than Rogue One, it's the best
Yeah.
you know, Disney related Star Wars content they've released. I
Yeah.
really loved. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, yeah,
I
it was
thought it was
pretty cool,
great.
man. Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. Although I think Andor is the best Disney Plus series that they've come out with. I really enjoyed that. I don't know if you saw that one and what you thought of it.
That's so funny you bring up Andor. That's literally the one series I haven't gotten to yet.
Oh,
All the
I.
rest I've watched, and that's like literally the one I haven't been able
So
to
how could
watch.
Rogue One be your favorite content from Disney and you
I
haven't watched
know.
Andor yet, man? That makes no sense at all, Eric.
I know. But
It's so good, man. Oh, so
I've
good. It's
heard
my favorite.
I've heard it starts off slow, but then
Yeah.
the payoff is,
Oh,
you know,
so
what
good.
it leads to. I have to catch up on it.
You got to catch up on it. It does. I mean, but Ahsoka, I think the first two episodes were a little slow too, and then it started to
Yeah.
build up, and then obviously a crescendo at the end. But Andor very similar, right? Slow build up, but then man, it pays off, and just everything about it I loved. I don't know. I think Mandalorian 1 and 2 were amazing. 3 was okay, but 1 and 2 were incredible.
Yeah.
Um, and then Andor, and then I liked Ahsoka toward the end. It was a little slow, but I think they have to kind of set things up right. And then they were,
Exactly.
it was a continuation of Rebels and a lot of other things that were going on too. So it got a
Yeah.
little complex, but yeah, that's awesome. So is that the
My
only one you haven't? Oh, go ahead, please.
oh sorry. My friend, his name is Devin. Back when I was in college watching Rebels, he used to make fun of me. Like, why are you watching Rebels? No one watches that. And I was like, it's pretty good. I like it. And
Yeah.
then, you know, now it paid off because,
Yeah.
you know, you're able to understand all the cross references in Ahsoka and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So
It was a lot for someone who never, you didn't need to watch Rebels, right? It helped. but you could certainly
Exactly.
enjoy it without it. But if you did watch it, man, it's a big investment, right? Because I think, was it 4 seasons of
Yeah.
Rebels, if I'm not mistaken, or is it
I
more?
think around there, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you got,
Yeah.
and each season had like 15 episodes or something. It's like almost like anime. It was a lot of seasons, or a lot
Yeah.
of episodes per season.
A lot of filler.
A lot of
But
filler. Yeah, yeah. That's
yeah, it
cool,
definitely
man.
paid off when I was watching Ahsoka. Like you say, you didn't have to watch Rebels to enjoy
Yeah,
Ahsoka, but it definitely enhanced it for me.
for sure.
I feel
Yeah.
like.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, right on, man. Well, Eric, I mean, I can't tell you how much I appreciate all the help you've been just with me personally. Maybe we could both go down to the city of Whittier and ask them to simplify their forms for something like this. But other than that, it wasn't that bad. I'm just teasing you, man. It was overwhelming when I looked at it, but then you just hit a couple buttons and you were done, man. So it was cool.
Yeah.
I was like, Eric, dude, this thing is crazy, man. And
It's like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
it's
It's
like
not my fault.
LLC and all these corporate terms and stuff. I'm like, dude, what did you do to me, man? But super easy. I think it was $34 and you're done, man. So it was awesome.
Yeah. And like I said, I've kept the prices of the actual vendor spaces
Yeah,
low to
yeah,
kind of offset that extra fee you have to pay. And then if you
for
already
sure.
have a valid Whittier business license,
Yeah,
like Fist Comics, for example, or if you're another local business here in Whittier and you already have a business license, you don't
yeah.
have to worry about the permit.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome, man. Well, Eric, congratulations up to this point. Obviously, we don't want to congratulate too much. We want to get past the 18th. I don't want to jinx
Exactly.
anything, but so far it sounds like an amazing event. I obviously follow you on Instagram, and just seeing all the people that are going to be there. A lot of people that I've gone to other cons with, so I'm really excited to see some friends and to get out there. But congratulations on everything.
Thank you.
And if you need anything, I think a lot of us that are going to be there would do anything to help make it even better. So we'll continue to share and get that message out there. But
Appreciate that. Thank
really
you.
looking forward to November 18th in Whittier at the community center, free admission, bring your whole family, a lot of vendors, a lot of comic books, a lot of cool stuff. So I think it's going to be super enjoyable.
Thank you so much for all the support for having me. I'm so excited
Yeah.
to have you there.
Yeah.
And yeah, we have some amazing artists coming and some amazing writers.
Yeah.
So I'm really, really excited. I'm very grateful for the lineup we have
Yeah.
and for all the support we've been getting, from you, from other artists. So I really, really do appreciate it.
Yeah, let's make it awesome, man. We'd love to see more local. San Diego's great, but San Diego's very stressful. Even as
Yeah,
someone just attending, right? Just the fine parking if you're not staying, and if you do stay, the prices are crazy in the hotels, and it's expensive when you're there because you want to buy everything.
yeah.
So it's a little overwhelming. It's that big and that crazy. So to have one that's a little bit more relaxed, more family oriented, where you could kind of take your time, walk around and enjoy. I think we need more of those in between San Diego. So they're almost like warm ups for San Diego, right? There's a little stepping
Yeah,
stone to get
exactly.
there. But yeah, I think it's awesome for the city of Whittier. And also as a comic book fan, I'm so glad something close is happening like that.
Appreciate that and
Yeah.
appreciate all of your support and excited to have you at the show.
I look forward to it, man. All right, Mr. Eric. Well, thank you, sir. If you need anything, let us know.
Thank
And
you.
everyone, make sure you're following Whittier Comic Fest on Instagram. You'll find out everything that's going on there. And make sure you're there November 18th.
Thank you so much. Excited to see you all there.
Yeah, thanks, Eric. I appreciate it, man.